The 2025 NFL Draft came and went, and guess what? Jaylen Ramsay is still wearing teal and orange, at least for now. Strange, isn't it? With all the buzz, all the talk, all the hints thrown in every direction, you'd think a deal would have already been in the books. Ramsay, this mountain of a cornerback, once the terror of opposing wide receivers, now finds himself standing at a crossroads. He's not washed up, not yet, but the shine on the armor is a little duller. The moves aren't quite as crisp, the recovery's a little slower. It's not a decline, it's more like a shift. A reminder that even the mightiest eventually feel the weight of time. 17 games, 2 interceptions, 11 passes defended, a 76.9 grade from PFF, sneaking him into the top 10 among his peers. Solid. Good. But when you've been a giant, is good really good enough? That's the question hanging in the air, heavier than anyone wants to admit. And with Ramsay about to hit 31, the whispers grew into conversations. Those conversations twisted into negotiations. The Dolphins and Ramsay, looking at each other across the table, knowing deep down it's time to move on. Not because of anger, not because of betrayal, simply because sometimes things end. But the draft came and went, and the clock kept ticking, and the trigger was never pulled. Yet NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, that guy who never lets a story die easy, says a trade is still very much alive. It just needs a little more time. A little more breathing room after June 1st, when the financial hit becomes more bearable. Dead money can be spread like a blanket over multiple seasons instead of crushing everything at once. Cold numbers, colder calculations, but that's how this game is played when the emotions get too heavy. And while the world keeps one eye glued to Ramsay's next move, another name creeps quietly into the conversation. Asanti Samuel Jr. Ever heard of him? You should have. Not just because he shares a name with his father, a man who turned shutting down receivers into an art form. Asanti Samuel Jr., born in Fort Lauderdale, practically had football stitched into his DNA before he could even spell it. College ball at Florida State was where Samuel Jr. first started leaving his own marks, sharp and undeniable. 2019, third-team All-ACC. 2020, first-team All-ACC elevation. Always upward, always chasing something just out of reach. 31 tackles, 3 picks, 6 passes broken up, 1 forced fumble, 2 recoveries. In just 8 games. Not enough to call it dominance, maybe, but more than enough to demand attention. It wasn't a shock when the Chargers snapped him up in the second round of the 2021 draft, 47th overall. They saw what everyone else with clear eyes saw. Potential coiled up like a spring, ready to be unleashed. And unleashed it was, almost immediately. Samuel Jr. didn't hide in the background, didn't wait his turn politely. He stepped onto that field and planted his flag. 12 games as a rookie, 43 tackles, 2 picks, 11 passes defended. Numbers don't lie. They also don't tell the full story. Watch the tape, and you see a kid with the instincts of a veteran, the swagger of a man who knew he belonged, even when others tried to test him. 2022 rolled around, and the volume only turned up. 17 games. No missed time. 57 tackles. 2 more interceptions. 11 passes batted away. Playoffs. Oh, you remember the playoffs. Jacksonville Jaguars. 3 interceptions in the first half. Not the game. The first half. Franchise record. You think that happens by accident. Not a chance. 2023? More of the same. 63 tackles. 2 interceptions. 13 passes defended. 17 games again. Consistency. Reliability. 2 things you can't just manufacture with hype. But fate, that cruel and merciless thing, decided to intervene in 2024. Shoulder injury. For games and then silence. The kind of silence that eats at a player, gnaws at the edges of their mind. Injured reserve. Watching from the sidelines as the world moves on without you. Still, you don't just erase what Asanti Samuel Jr. has built. 50 games. 176 tackles, 6 interceptions, 37 passes defended, 1 fumble recovered. Those numbers still scream resilience, promise, unfinished business. Now picture this. Dolphins without Ramsay. Dolphins, maybe with Samuel Jr. You feel that? That strange pull of possibility? It's not crazy. It's not reckless. It's a recognition that the story never stops moving. It shifts, it bends. It forces everyone to adapt or get left behind.